Yep. I suppose I'll be doing this in mid-October. Hi there, I'm Gyro. You might know me from my obnoxiously long 1-hour videos. I'm the guy behind the Treehouse Shenanigans series, and I'm here to ramble about an old Roblox game that I used to play, called Egg Hunt 2019 Scrambled in Time. You might know what it is, and if you do, good job. You probably had a pretty good childhood, or at least a good experience on Roblox. If you don't, well, now's a chance to know about it. As soon as I get my hands on the encyclopedia. I'm sure I left it around here somewhere. Where is it? Ow! Damn. Duly noted. I'll try to avoid placing books precariously next time. Now, where was I? Right. Egg Hunt 2019 Scrambled in Time is a Roblox game developed by the Roblox group Actually, with a lot of partner teams and developers pitching in. Oh my god, there's a lot of partners. I can't list every single one of them. If I did that, the video is probably going to be longer than an hour, which isn't exactly a new record for me. Anyway, the concept behind this game is simple. The Eggverse is falling apart due to a rift opening up, which has scattered several eggs across different games. Or experiences, as Roblox would like you to call them. Sorry, still not over that. We, the players, must traverse the various games to collect these missing eggs, and as per the traditions of events on Roblox, we can keep them for ourselves. By collecting these eggs, the damage done to the Eggverse by the rift is undone bit by bit, and it especially shows in the music and the changes to the second hub for the event. The game starts with us waking up on what appears to be a massive floating island with pink foliage, multiple smaller islands with waterfalls, or fountains. Well, whatever they are, they're defying physics. Hey, that just goes with most games on Roblox. They don't allow lots of physics. Anyway, this hooded figure, whom we will call Hood for now, greets us, saying that he knows us and has gone on adventures with us. Sure. If this keeps going, I'm calling the authorities because I do not trust hooded figures who say they've known us for a long time, but he knows about the Eggverse, so we'll stick with him for now. Hey, it kinda looks like he's brought us to a stable timeline in the Eggverse in the hopes that our memories will come back. Wait, hold on. Oh, I get it. Okay, my bad, Hood. I got things mixed up. So we did know him. Only the Eggverse destabilizing has somehow messed up our memories and we have forgotten about him. But yeah, he takes us to a stable timeline in our hopes our memories will return. He says that all of this is happening because of one person who has roguishly unsealed every egg, scattered them across the Eggverse, messing up things big time. And they seem to be very aware of that. Other than that, that's the only mention we get of this antagonist. Hood then takes us to a pretty big windmill, the main hub for story chapters of the event, and this is where we're going to be spending about 35% of the event. So get comfy. Yes, I said 35, I'm not joking. The 65% goes to all the other games participating in the event. I sure do hope a certain lunatic riding a decrepit old horse and wielding a jousting lance doesn't come by and try to attack the windmill. That'll be pretty bad. This might be too soon. Anyway. The moment we enter, he tries to do his own brand of greeting us, only to fail spectacularly, slamming on the ground next to the piano. Classy. Hey, since when were the insides of windmills so lavishly decorated and furnished? He brushes off his mishap and tells us the eggs were scattered in tears in the Eggverse and goes on to say that special eggs, dubbed power eggs, were also unsealed, allowing us to use special powers in this timeline. He then instructs us to go around the games, collect eggs, and stabilize the universe bit by bit. Now, this is a pretty good bit of motivation to get the players to collect eggs, aside from the fact that there are doors in the tower, they call it the tower instead of the windmill, bear with it, that are locked and require a certain number of eggs to open. However, other than that, it's lacking. We're here to collect eggs to stabilize the universe, that much I can understand. However, strip that away from the game, and the whole thing just falls flat on its face. A glaring example of that is when you jump from game to game collecting eggs. The narratives that the developers push out with some of their objectives do not line up with that of the main game story, so you're left confused with no other choice but to accept it and just continue doing what you're doing. We finish objectives, collect eggs, rinse, and repeat. We open up our first door, leading to a power egg. This one's called the telekinetic. It's a power egg that allows us to manipulate matter with our mind, but ever since it's been unsealed, it's been flinging objects around randomly. Our task is to make it to the end of an obstacle course without it being absolutely eviscerated by whatever it throws at us. Trick it into throwing some flying hovercrafts at targets to activate a new path for us, dodge its lasers, and dodge more hovercrafts. Eventually, we make it to the end and lay our hands on our first power egg. We return to the tower and unlock the next floor, which looks like a library of sorts. Why do I get the feeling something bad's about to happen? But we meet Hood again, who doesn't give us any useful info aside from there being another power egg to seal, some bit of encouragement, telling us to use any new powers we've learned, and the 10 miles. We go back to doing whatever we were doing best, finishing objectives and collecting eggs. So, about there being a power egg to seal on this floor. There are 2 on the second floor. He lied. Our second egg to seal allows us to manipulate the flow of time on a smaller scale, called the Scrambling Egg of Time. Hood tells us that this room is the power room of the tower, which supplies the whole thing with molten lava as its main energy source. Okay, molten lava energy, sure. The only problem is that the room is flooding and we have to move lest we burn up from the lava. Using our new psychic powers, we move objects around using them as stepping stones to avoid being scorched by the lava, and we keep doing this until we reach the top of the tower and lay our hands on the second power egg. Hey there, editing Gyro here. Video me forgot to mention how we're capable of walking on walls and the ceilings. That's because of this neat power egg called MC Egger, which we can find in the first lobby of the Egg Hunt game. Just walk up the wall next to a big box-like structure and it should be sitting on top. Unfortunately, the game's so damn old you can't even use the special ramps in most places anymore. Ugh. Alright, back to it. I'm passing the mic back to Video Me. Thank you, Editor Me. Where was I? Ah, right. We've claimed our second or third power egg, which leaves one more for the sword, the cracking technology turret. Hard to say. Try saying that 3 times that fast. Anyway, this obstacle course has us use time manipulation power we've just unlocked to make potted plants grow into makeshift ladders, repair broken objects, stop floating flowers or helicopter platforms so we can stand on them, and flick levers for some odd reason. We still have to make use of our telekinesis to move around objects, however. We do this successfully, laying our hands on our 4th power egg. We return to the tower, unlocking our 3rd and final floor. We walk in on Hood playing the piano, and he stops his sick piano set to tell us that there's one more power egg waiting for us in the tower. And that waiting for us. I'm not sure what he meant by that sentence, but we shrug it off and move on to our last power egg, the missing egg of ARG. Using the previous egg we've collected, we gained the ability to use an egg slingshot. I thought we had something like a blaster or a turret. False information. I'm giving this game a dislike and bragging negative review. This game sucks. Alright, the video's over. Goodbye. I still got a lot of things to talk about. We traverse this digital obstacle course, shooting down these weird, crystallized zombies who have been corrupted by the egg with our slingshot and not our turret. Shoot down targets into open gates, walk on walls and ceilings, traverse hallways, move objects around telekinetically until we reach the last room where we fight off a horde of the same enemies plus one big guy. We eventually best them and lay claim to the final power egg, which doesn't even give us any new abilities. Is this even a power egg? Editing me here again. I literally cannot use the wall slide to sample some footage from other players. I'm sorry about this. Back to it. Back to the hub. We collected all the main story eggs, save for 2. That's where this new portal in the hub comes in. This is the big bad that has been vaguely mentioned, only once in the story, Evil Wick. You know, you could have fleshed out the story, if you mentioned him a few more times, either by name or at least by someone else to show how much of a threat he is. Instead, we only get one vague mention of him, and that's just about it. Anyways, the way we beat him is by moving around the arena, dodging his bombs, climbing up the wall to reach his head, or if you're like me, climbing onto his head and jumping on it. Repeat the cycle until he loses a small portion of his health. Then he'll destroy a portion of the arena, revealing more lava that you cannot touch. Otherwise, you'll risk burning your behind and losing a portion of your own health. For this phase, you jump across all stalactites while carrying a rock using your powers. You're supposed to bash him in the head with it. You know, like caveman to caveman communication. I thought it was funny. You keep doing that until, well, that's it. Just keep giving him brain damage and you eventually win. Once you beat Evil Rick, the game presents with two choices, both of which give you different eggs depending on your choice. If you choose to keep the egg for yourself, you forcibly take it from Evil Rick and he calls you out for it, surprisingly. Hood even joins in on calling you out as well, and even makes a Star Wars reference in doing so. He shoves you aside, saying that it didn't have to end this way, implying that we have deviated from the original timeline thanks to our actions. We do get the legendary for our troubles, however, the very egg that is the source of Evil Rick's powers, and the whole thing that started this chaos. But if you choose to seal the egg instead, Evil Rick laments over it, saying that he could have saved them. Who's them? Hood reveals himself to be another version of Evil Rick named Eggwick? Whoa, cool multiverse plot. Too bad this felt Russian memory though. Ugh. He thanks us for our efforts, and I guess that's it. We earned the Dragonborn Fabergé egg for our troubles. We seal the eggs and everything goes back to how it is, yeah? We still have other eggs to collect, so this isn't exactly the end for our hunt. As for the story, does it meaningfully affect the experience, or is it just there for the sake of being there? It's a bit of both. Well, let me explain. The main story is just there to tie the objectives together and give us the motivation to collect eggs, because if we don't, Eggverse will just collapse. We can't have that now, can we? However, it has some plot holes that were not addressed at all. Who is the they that Evil Wick mentioned? Who is the we that Eggwick mentioned? None of this gets brought up in the story ever again after that. We don't even get any lore in the power eggs besides the fact that they were said to give us powers due to them being unsealed. Also, if you're going to fight as a big bad, then why are you carrying the evil artifact around? Have you not considered that people may try to steal from you like we did? Sorry, got a bit heated there. But yeah, that's the story part. While it is good in some ways, it's flawed too. I don't think there's anything noteworthy about this. You go around various games, complete tasks to collect eggs, and that's it. Actually, I think I can give a few of my favorite examples. Innovation Inc. Arctic Lab. Cause a meltdown, go into the reactor room. Do not forget your hazmat suit, that part's important though. Go upstairs and grab the egg sitting in the upper part of the reactor. That's it. Too bad for the facility though.
Ah! What have you done? The facility is going to blow!
Shush. I'm here for the egg. You can rebuild the facility though. It's fine. Well, shoot. The facility's falling apart. Well, RC, I got it, Jad. For the labyrinth, you traverse the labyrinth to collect shards to open up a temple. Unfortunately, one of them needs you to kill another player in any PvP area within the maze, something I'm admittedly not very good at, so I just kinda nicked any fallen shard that was there and just bolted it. I am opportunistic like that. Once you find all of the shards, locate the temple, set them in their respective areas, enter the temple, and complete the objectives inside, and that's just about it. You have picked up the egg. For Egg Hunt 2018, this one is my favorite. We're going back a year. This time, we're going back into the Encyclopedia into a new world called the Mirage. You know, it's kind of weird that an Egg Hunt game will be participating in another Egg Hunt game. Egg Huntception, I guess? We find our primary objective, which is to align the mirrors scattered around the desert to redirect the light shining on them at the barrier, which houses the egg. Hey, doesn't that egg look familiar? Isn't that the same egg that corrupted Aymor some years back? Well, whatever. We're here to pick it up either way. Once we do that, we do a bit of obbying and we lay our heads on this somewhat ominous egg. Well, that's all from me regarding my favorite objectives, but there are some issues regarding some objectives here. Some are outright unavailable due to certain games not supporting different platforms, whether it be mobile or console, as such. Some games opted to give players of these platforms the eggs right away, instead of requiring them to complete otherwise impossible tasks. Some were buggy, some were confusing, and some were balls to the wall hard and had to be nerfed. Portals to the games weren't clear either, so if you didn't pick up that game's egg yet, you won't know where that portal will lead until you interact with it and pick up its egg. This is why people will opt to join the event games directly instead. While some objectives were fun, some were outright tedious or obscure, so we won't know what to do unless we looked at the guide. The balancing is kind of all over the place, so I'm not sure what else I can say. And that's about it for this section. Oof. Where the heck do I even start with this one? The hubs in Egg Hunt 2019 are easily some of the most memorable parts of the entire event. both for how pretty they are and how confusing they can get if you're not paying attention for like 2 seconds. Let's talk about the first hub. I love the aesthetic here. You've got this gorgeous stained glass floor, water shimmering beneath it, stars twinkling all around you. The walls and ceilings sparkle like the inside of a snow globe. Portals are scattered along the sides, each one glowing with this mysterious energy. Every portal takes you to a different participating game, and when you finish that game's objective, the portal changes. An image of the egg appears where the portal used to be. It's a simple but really clever way of showing progress, like, yeah, you patched up the tear in the Eggverse, 1 down, 57 to go. It's an actually really satisfying visual touch. If you like your healing this broken world, even though you're really just hopping through Lotus screens for the next 2 hours, but hey, immersion is immersion. Then we move on to the second hub, which is bigger, brighter, and somehow even more physics-defying. We're talking pink foliage everywhere, skies that can't decide if it's sunrise or sunset. Like, pick a lane, please, man, come on. And islands just floating around because gravity just took one look at this place and said, I'm gonna head out. It's chaotic, it's weird, and I kind of love it for that. At the center of it all is this gigantic windmill tower, because apparently calling it a windmill wasn't fantasy enough. This is where you'll be spending about 35% of the event, like I mentioned earlier, running up and down floors like a confused intern trying to find a meeting room they were told about 10 minutes ago. If I had to work here, I will be screaming my head off in confusion, like, why would you build it like this? The tower is divided into levels, each one unlocking as you collect more eggs. It's a smart way to give players goals. The more you collect, the more the tower opens up, and honestly, I think that's a neat idea. If only the navigation was so clunky. See, the portals in the tower aren't exactly clear on where they take you. You kind of have to guess, like some interdimensional roulette. Will this portal take me to a snowy lab full of scientists, or a labyrinth brawling with massive spiders and velociraptors that want to tear my ass apart? Well, let's find out. I swear, the hub is beautiful, but also built by someone who really did not want us to understand spatial awareness. And, oh boy. The hub also loves to make you run around confused like a cracked up rooster not knowing what to do. It's like the dev said, let's give him the hub that looks great and makes them rage quit. Like, thanks Actually, really keeping us on our toes, like literally. But credit where it's due. The environment design fits the event's whole theme of time and dimension. The worlds feel disconnected yet connected, like a shadow clock that's somehow ticking. And now and then, you'll notice small details that change as you progress. The lighting shifts, the music slightly evolves, the move of the hub becomes more stable. It's subtle, but it's telling you that you're making progress in repairing the Eggverse. It's that kind of environmental storytelling that makes me go, ah, yes, you didn't have to put that detail in, but you did. Respect. However, not everything is sunshine and pink leaves. The hubs, as good as they look, were pretty demanding on weaker devices. A lot of players, especially on mobile or older PCs, experienced lag spikes so bad it felt like traveling through actual time dilation. You jump, freeze midair, and then suddenly disconnect. Truly the icon experience. And let's not forget the confusion that came with portal organization. Players new to the event had no idea which portal led to which game unless they used guides or trial and error. It made the experience feel disjointed at times, like an overly fancy menu screen that you had to physically walk through. Still, I can't be too harsh. The first and second hubs are ambitious. They weren't just waiting rooms, they were characters in their own right. Each space told a story and they actually felt alive in a weird Robloxy kind of way. So while the map design wasn't perfect between the confusing portals, the performance issues, and the weird obsession with floating islands, it was still one of the most visually distinct things Roblox had ever pulled off at the time. If EggCon 2019 did one thing right, it was the atmosphere. The hubs nailed that. They made you feel like you were in a universe that was cracking apart, being held together by the faint hope that you'd find one more egg to fix it all. And honestly, for all its flaws, that's still kind of magical. Ah, the music, or shall I say, the thing that most people didn't pay attention to until they replayed the game event years later. Now, EggCon 2019 soundtrack is kind of a mixed bag. And by mixed, I mean half of it absolutely slaps and the other half sounds like it was made at 3 AM on a free trial FL Studio with one headphone working. But before I roasted you hard like Xiao roasted the assistant live stream one of my friends, live Runa streams, let's give credit where it's due. This event had ambition in its sound design. Right from the first hub, the music sets the mood. It's dreamy, it's spacey, it's a little mysterious. You spawn in and you immediately hit this gentle Sith melody that makes you feel like you just walked into a cosmic cathedral. It's calm, elegant, and surprisingly emotional for a Roblox event. You almost forget that you're about to spend the next 4 hours collecting eggs from obby simulators and random tycoons. sorry. There's echo to the sound that really starts the lost in time. Like, you're floating in a void where the universe hums to itself. I'll give him that. Whoever worked on the sound design understood the assignment. Then you get the second hub, and it's like someone took the first sub music, cranked the mystery up to 11, and said, what if Zelda and Lo-Fi had a baby? The theme becomes more adventurous, more upbeat, like you're actually fixing the Eggverse instead of wandering around aimlessly, wondering where the next portal is. It's got this subtle shift from mystery to hope, which I love. It feels like progress, even if the hub layout itself makes you feel like you're walking in circles. Now that's the good stuff. The bad part? Most of the partner games didn't exactly match that quality. Some had fantastic original tracks that fit their theme perfectly, like Roblox in High School and Dungeon Quest, which really nailed their respective atmospheres. Others, though, just play the same 30-second loop on repeat until your brain melts into egg yolk. You'd hear the same 4 piano notes so many times that you'd start humming them while making breakfast the next day. PTSD, but make it musical. To be fair, that's not really on actually the dev theme. Each participating game handled its own sound design, but the difference in quality was jarring. You go from an epic orchestral fantasy track to stock music loop number 5 in the span of 2 teleports. It kinda broke immersion, like you were watching Avengers Endgame and halfway through the soundtrack switched to elevator jazz. That's what it feels like. Still, the main hub's music holds up. It's chill, it's atmospheric, and honestly, if Roblox released it on Spotify, I'd probably have it in my study and pretend I'm in a sci-fi RPG playlist. There's just something so nostalgic about it. That airy celestial sound that captures exactly what made these egg kinds so special. That blend of mystery and wonder. Unfortunately, the music isn't very dynamic. You won't find adaptive sound that changes based on what you're doing. No tension themes when you find a rare egg on unlock a new floor. It's just all one long loop, pretty but predictable. Imagine how cool it could have been if the hub theme suddenly evolved as you collected more eggs. Oh wait, the second hub already does that? I forgot about that. Well, either way, the first hub didn't have, maybe more instruments layering in or the melody becoming more complete. It's a missed opportunity for sure. Overall though, the soundtrack does its job. It helps the atmosphere, enhances the visuals, and adds just enough ambience to keep things from feeling dead sound. Is it perfect? Nah. Is it iconic? Maybe not iconic, but definitely nostalgic. And that's almost better, because when you revisit Egg on 2019 now and hear that familiar spacey hum, you feel like you're stepping back into a moment. That weird, wonderful little slice of Roblox history, where everything felt just a little bit more magical. Egg on 2019 didn't skip when it came to egg variety. In fact, it broke records with 58 total eggs to find across the event. That means 58 little pastel, or metallic, or sci-fi treasures, with each with its own theme, challenge, and sometimes lore reference. The sheer scale of it is both impressive and frankly a little overwhelming. One of my favorite things is how many eggs weren't just go to X location and pick up egg. Many have backstories, clever names, clever visual designs, and reference things outside of Roblox. For example, the MC Egger is a nod to MC Escher. Yep, the guy who did all those mind-twisting optical illusions. The missing egg of ARG leans into the mystery vibe. Its name already teases something deeper. Then there are the Marvel-themed eggs, Thor egg, Iron Man egg, Captain America egg, etc. Each visually styled after its character. That kind of cross-IP design gives those eggs extra punch. They're not just eggs. They're like, look, it's Iron Man, but in egg form. But with so many eggs, you also get filler. Some egg designs feel underwhelming, less creative concept, more standard Roblox, but egg-colored. Because when you're doing dozens, you'll inevitably stretch your creative limits. When that happens, some eggs lean heavily into mechanics. For example, how to get them rather than their visuals. The design becomes a secondary afterthought. Another interesting aspect, a few eggs spawn randomly or in rotating positions to make things more dynamic. The retro egg, the geometric, is one such egg. It spawns in the second hub in random locations, under the bridge or next to the temples. That adds a little spice, or where's it going to be next time, rather than just letting players memorize everything. On the flip side, random spawns can frustrate people if you're chasing a life stick and you can't find it. Balance is delicate. Yet another design flair, the use of launcher egg. The only launcher eggs, the video star egg and Eggman 2019, don't just sit around somewhere waiting for you to pick them up. They appear via the launcher. That adds spectacle, but it also depends on whether you or others have this launcher. It's fun when it works, but it's annoying when it doesn't. One place where the design can falter is in consistency, because each participating game handles its own egg visuals sometimes. You'll run into eggs whose art style clashes with the game it's in. One egg might feel sleek and futuristic, while another in the same event looks cartoony and flat. When you're teleporting game to game, those jarring contrasts pull you out of the immersion. Wait, we just went from a cyber egg to a pastel egg in a medieval map. Why does that even make sense? Lastly, there are lore tie-ins to egg design that are fun but underused. Some eggs reference mythology or pop culture. The Daedal egg is clearly a play on Daedalus and Labyrinths, which matches its game, the Labyrinth. The egg tricks hints at the Matrix, and Whoever Ball combines Whoever. I'm sorry if I'm fucking up the pronunciation. I'm really sorry. With football, I like those little Easter eggs, pun intended. They show that someone was thinking about layered meaning, not just cool egg color, but the event could have leaned even more into that, weaving egg lore deeper into the narrative. So, in sum, the egg designs in Egghunt 2019 are bold, varied, and ambitious. Many are clever, some feel a little lazy, and a few shine because of their randomness or tie-ins. But overall, they're a big part of what gives the event character. And when one of those standout eggs finally appears, it feels like you just discovered a gem. Okay, time for the part where I either sing this game's praises or roast it alive like that one time I actually burnt my bread last year. No, not like that. Because as much as I love Egghunt 2019, Scrambled in Time, it wasn't perfect. It wasn't even close. But hey, that's part of the charm, right? Let's start with the good, because I'm not that cynical yet. Egghunt 2019 at its heart was ambitious, like painfully ambitious. We're talking over 40 participating games, a completely original hub world with lore, and even a Marvel tie-in with Avengers Endgame. This wasn't just another collect the shiny things event, it was a full-blown production. The level of collaboration that went into it was insane for Roblox at the time. You had developers from all corners of the platform contributing, coordinating, and somehow managing to keep the whole thing functioning mostly. And when it worked, it was magical. The hub design, gorgeous. The music, atmospheric and nostalgic. The power eggs, genuinely fun to use. Telekinesis, time manipulation, walking on walls and ceilings. This was the stuff that made you feel like Roblox was pushing boundaries and not just pumping another tycoon simulator. In the sense of adventure, that feeling of unity across so many different games was unmatched. Every new portal felt like a little doorway into another world, and that's what egg hunts were all about: discovery, exploration, and community. Alright, let's talk about the bad. For all its ambition, Scrambled in Time also kinda scrambled itself. The story had great ideas, but it was a structural mess. You got Evil Wick and Egg Wick, who may or may not be the same person, depending on which Eggverse you're in, and lore that hints at something deeper and never actually follows through. Questions are raised, mysteries are teased, and then the event just ends. It's like the developers just ran out of time and said, close enough. Then, there's the gameplay balance. Some objectives were genuinely creative fun, but while others felt like cruel punishment disguised as content. One egg will take 5 minutes and a bit of platforming. The next will have you stuck in a PvP labyrinth being spawn killed by players who clearly hadn't seen daylight in days, and don't even get me started on the bugs. Some eggs just refuse to spawn, portals broke, and some games just straight up locked down mobile and console players for an event designed to be global. That's not great. And now for the ugly, the part that hurts to admit. Egghunt 2019 was the last true traditional egg hunt. After this, Roblox stopped doing them. Future hunts were just brand tie-ins, scavenger hunts, or egg hunts in name only. This was the end of an era, and in hindsight, Scrambled in Time also feels like it knew that. The game tried to go out with a bang, but instead it went out like a confetti cannon and jammed halfway through. It was big, it was messy, it was beautiful, and it marked the last time the Roblox community came together for something this massive. You could feel the cracks forming, the uneven quality between games, the technical hiccups, the weird narrative pacing, but underneath it all, you could still feel the love that the devs had for it. They wanted to make something special, and despite everything, they did. So, yeah, the good, nostalgic, creative, and ambitious. And the bad, unpolished, inconsistent, and confusing. The ugly, it was the end of a tradition we'll probably never see again. Egghunt 2019 Scrambled in Time wasn't perfect, but it was ours. Flaws, bugs, time rifts, and all. While it may have been flawed, it still remains one of my favorite events to this day, mostly in part due to its atmosphere, the egg designs, and the music, and also the tone of the story sets. Its reputation may not be the best due to it being both a dev hunt and a standard egg hunt, but it's okay for me at least. That's the end of this review. I wasn't expecting to do something like this, honestly. I'm more used to putting out videos where me and my friends just scream our heads off.
Get away from me!
But this is a nice change of pace. Alright, standard protocol, whatever. If you like this review, feel free to drop a like, comment, and subscribe. It means a lot to me. If I get anything wrong in this review, please comment about it, call me unreasonably. Do not go after my toe. I've already had enough of that. Alright, well, I'll see you guys later.